That's recording. Good. Yeah. Okay. Wow. You can see I'm prepared
Smooth
today.
start.
Yeah,
Professional,
it's a good one. It's
utterly professional.
Utterly wonderful. Welcome to the 6th recording, I think it is. Yes, 6th recording. 6th episode of Random Encounter, where we are doing an actual play of the Abomination Vaults, Pathfinder 2nd Edition Adventure Path, and we are we're starting to going through some of the content and some of the stuff that's in this adventure path. And the very first thing we've done every time so far is just had a bit of a light conversation, and I've directed people around and I've moved about and I've told people, you're talking next to. I'm not going to do that this time. I'm not. I'm just going to leave it a little bit open, a little bit more sort of round for people to chat, because what I want to really get into now, having been a few sessions in, plus what we did before this with all the prep stuff and everything else, is talk about how you guys, my players, feel like it's going so far in this Gauntlet Ruins. It's a bit sort of open, it's a little bit sandboxy, kind of, because you can go where you want to go. You're not being moved from room to room. You're not being told which ways you have to go and all the rest of it. You've got a little bit of freedom, but I mean, the railroad is there. You can see the tracks. You know that you're being told to go into this place and move around. But what do people think so far? Is there anybody that's got any kind of opinions on this so far in terms of an adventure? I've got two people here that have done Pathfinder with me before. They know an entirely different sort of adventure path, because we're doing Extinction Curse, which is a lot more railroaded. In fact, it's a lot more railroaded to the extent that I'm actually having to construct the railroads as we go to kind of convince you guys to keep going. Yeah, so what do people think? What are people enjoying it?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
We can all see the lovely voice there of Lily, but we can't see Lily. I'm
sorry.
That's probably going to be the case at least for a little bit, because we have a glitch with a webcam.
Gremlins.
So gremlins with the webcam. So
Tag gremlins again.
There'll be some stuff done to sort that out, I'm sure, but it won't be this time, and it probably won't be for the next recorded episode, because that'll happen in about an hour's time. So yeah, but it's good to have you here anyway, even if not visually. But anyway, back to the point that we were going. Does anybody have any standout feelings about this kind of adventure path? And to sort of be fair about this, what I mean by that is dungeon crawling type adventures, because this is very much in that vein of a dungeon crawl.
Yeah, I think if you're doing a entire adventure as a dungeon crawler and everyone knows what to expect, then you're kind of in the mindset. I think if you're doing a long campaign, it's not just whatever we end up doing in the Abomination Vaults. We end up doing, 3 or 4 other bits and bobs. If every single one is a dungeon crawl, then it starts to get just repetitive, where you're constantly just rolling dice. And most of the time, especially if you haven't leveled up between a lot of the fights and the you're basically just doing the same thing for every single encounter you do. You might have a rogue that sneaks up and fires a crossbow bolt, and that will be the same for the entirety of the level, because that's how your party ends up working. So there's definitely, for me, areas where, a dungeon crawl's cool, but they need to be spaced out. The very first campaign of a new group is totally fine. Everyone gets to know, what people are doing. You're still trying to understand what people's personalities are, what people actually do and how you interact. And then later on, if you want to do other things, do that. But yeah, I think my feedback is just don't do them back to back if you're running a longer campaign.
Yeah, that's fair. I think the thing is we set out very much at the beginning, didn't we? We said this was a dungeon crawl. This is pretty much a dungeon crawl top to bottom. You're talking multiple levels of this, that you're going to go through ultimately, but it is a dungeon crawl for the most part. I have already hinted that there are other things involved, and there will be other things that come along, but that this is very much the style of this adventure path.
Oh yeah, like don't get me wrong. I say doing a dungeon crawl for the entirety of an adventure path is absolutely fine. It would be, if we did another adventure path after this, then if we had another dungeon crawl at that point, I think at that point it would start to just feel repetitive.
So interspace your dungeon crawl open boxes with some guided gameplay as opposed to open boxes. Absolutely agree with that. Get a bit of a mixed balance.
So is there anybody got anything else on that sort of thing? I mean, what do people think about the there's a sort of vague advantages, as Lily said, of getting to know the people in the group if you've never played before, which is kind of the situation that you four are in. Becky and JJ have played before, but Dave and Lily are new to the group as it was for this. Do you think there is another advantage? Do you think there's any other advantages, say, in perhaps learning the rules with a dungeon crawl?
I was going to say that like one aspect is getting to know the party, but the other aspect is that rules thing, because you do a lot of rules-based decisions, like me and my sneak attack, and understanding how that works because it's different in this system to maybe how it is in another system. And because we're doing things, you go to one room and you do the next thing. I'm getting to try all the different things and make a mess of the rules for Matt to tell me to do it right.
I don't think that's fair, because I'm more than likely making a lot of these rules wrong already myself. The number of times I've already kind of gone, I'm not entirely sure why, other than the advantage of using stealth, why you'd want to avoid detection as an exploration thing. But there are actually, I mean, starting from a stealth position for a rogue is massively important. But I've also kind of realised recently that there's a whole thing which I've been completely missing, which is you can start from a position of being hidden. So even if you are not going first, and therefore people technically know you're in the fight and you can't sneak attack them, you can still be hidden from them, which is a massive benefit. And I post it to you guys quite often. I do recommend people watch the Knights of Last Call. They do an interesting segment periodically called Nightlife, where they go through a whole bunch of the rules that you can use in combat, and they've done stealth recently, and how powerful hidden is, because hidden as a stat means that people can't hit you very well. It causes you to have cover. You get cover from whatever you're hiding behind, but you also got a mischance because you're hidden. So there's loads and loads of stuff from it. And I didn't know the rules on that one very well, and that's the kind of thing that it is. And I've started to realise that even if somebody is searching, so seeking, which is the other thing, which is the perception based one, if they want to be hidden while they seek, that is entirely plausible. You can say, actually, I want to do a stealth roll as well to see if I can be hidden while I'm doing this. The advantage...
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah, the advantage of the avoid notice is you are automatically hidden in the fight, which you wouldn't be if you were seeking. You just can potentially sneak up on things a little bit better.
So how does that work in sense of, if the entire party was like saying, we're going to avoid notice, does that essentially mean that you can go through an entire dungeon completely hidden?
You can try.
That would be a very quick campaign.
So if you try, if the entire party avoided notice for the whole thing, effectively what would happen is every time you open a door that there's an encounter behind, if your stealth rolls were high enough that you beat the perception DC of every creature in that room, you are effectively hidden from all of them. You use stealth as your initiative if you end up deciding you're going to fight them. But it's plausible you could say, open a door, yeah, we're still stealthy enough that they haven't noticed us, and we're just going to close the door and we'll move on down this corridor. That's
I'll prefer
plausible.
tactic.
It is entirely plausible. But we've already talked about this because, of course, you guys have decided to bash down a door. And part of the rules basically allow me to say, you know what, because of what you're doing, we're going to use athletics for this initiative. So the two of you that are bashing down the door are going to get to do that in this fight. Before we disappear off, Dave, is there anything else you've kind of got feelings about this system or this game so far, or is it all kind of just it's good fun?
It's good fun. It's all falling into place. It's not a major stretch of boundaries. There's some little differences from systems I've played before, but at the end of the day, it's a role-playing game system, and they just fit into place. And I'm having a lot of fun. I like exploring things that contrast with other systems, and we'll get into more of that as we delve deeper. And I hopefully don't die horribly and achieve level 2 at some point.
It does.
Yeah, go on.
I was just say, the one thing also, it does feel like Pathfinder benefits from having a battle map. Like there's certain tabletops that actually, like Dark Heresy and things, you can describe a lot of the combat, and actual positioning doesn't matter too much. While, especially as you've got flanking, and there's quite a few nitty gritty of exactly where you are matters.
Yeah.
So I think if you didn't have access to, obviously we've got Foundry, but if you didn't have access to some sort of map, running something like this, you'd really struggle.
Yeah, 100% agree with you.
Great.
I will at some point, Lily, introduce you to Blades in the Dark, which is a game that Becky and JJ have heard me talk about quite a bit, which fundamentally gets rid of the entire idea of ranges. There's no such thing. If you want to be in melee, you're in melee, and if you don't, you're not. It's a very strange system, but it works without battle maps in any way, shape or form, because it's all done theatre of the mind. And what's even better about that system is the GM never rolls a dice, apart from once. Combat is entirely done by the players. It's got quite an interesting little way of doing things. But that's an aside, because that's not what we're playing right now, and we are in fact playing Pathfinder. You have just bashed down a door. I believe I showed you a picture of this wonderful sort of creature just before we left. But just in case,
I was going to say, you're going to remind us of how horrific this looks.
This wonderful big fly thing, and it's buzzing its way around in this tiny little chamber in front of you. You've smashed down the door, having heard it in there. What I would say is, we didn't go into too much detail last time about whether or not anybody was scouting or if anybody was stealthing or anything else like that. I am going to assume that functionally you heard the noise and nobody was really sort of prepping everybody for this fight. You just went for it. So there was nobody really scouting. So we're not going to do a +1 to this. But I think Anka and Moz, you were going charging. So you can both use athletics for your initiative for a change. And Neffy, I'm going to say by default, Neffy tends to stealth. So I'm going to allow Neffy to stealth in this fight, which only really leaves Phelan as potentially doing anything else. Does Phelan particularly feel like he might be being sneaky at this point, or is he going to be his normal sort of open
observational
self? Under which circumstances, everybody, if you just make sure you're using the correct
So how do I do that in this? Because I think this is the first time I've actually had to change it. So
there's a drop down.
There is a drop down for it. So what you need to do is open up your character sheet there, and on that, it doesn't matter which page you're on. To be fair, you'll have the red sort of banner down.
Yeah,
side.
sure.
For initiative, you can just change it on that drop down.
So if I push that button next initiative, that will roll.
Correct, it will.
Because I've just been pushing the dice next to my name.
Well, that absolutely works, and it uses whatever.
So does that do it? Okay.
To, yeah.
Okay. Let's see what happens. I rolled a dice.
That's looking good. It's just Phelan that needs to roll,
Wow.
and then we'll get a little bit of combat music going. Yep, that's all up and running. I can definitely hear that. Lovely little combat music we've got. Phelan's still not rolled according to my sheet.
Phelan has a copy.
Yep, 13.
13. I don't know why it's not come up on the tracker, but it's that very quickly.
Because I only see me and the unknown creature on the tracker.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh,
I'll have a bit of a
refresh
refresh.
your screen there. I think Phelan, unfortunately, that's not quite right. But what we do have is a common encounter set up, and first on the plate is going to be Mosran. I will just do that. So Mosran, you are first. You can see this large fly type creature in the room buzzing around after smashing down this door.
Okay. It dropped me to initiative 8, apparently, but never mind.
I think you rolled twice, or Jared's rolled twice.
Alright.
I've set it
Never mind.
I've set it up as 13, and I've got the track going, so I can let you know when you're going, so that shouldn't be a problem.
That's fine.
So Modron, you are first. Anchor, you will be up next. So Moz,
Can I hold my action until Anchor has gone? Because it seems a very bad idea for backup with a long spear to run in front of the person with the shield.
I've got no
Just
problem with
for a
Possibly
that.
go wrong.
I've got no problem with that. So you're completely delaying your turn. You're not just.
I'm completely delaying all 3 actions until Anchor has taken that.
Okay. Well, as it happens, you've both got the same initiative. So one of the nice things about the same initiative is you can just go in whichever order you want to. So long as you've got the initiatives in the same. So okay, you can instead go next, and then it'll be Moss.
Okay. In that case, obviously, normally I've been walking around with shield, drawn as my default, so well, at the end of the turn I'd be doing that anyway. So I'll charge forward towards the fly. Is it within flailing distance of a sword?
Yeah, it's
okay.
The room isn't high enough that you can't hit him as it comes in.
Sure. So I'll charge through the door, and have a swing, shield in hand. So only with a single hand. That's a damage dice rather than rolling a d20. And let's see if I can actually roll to hit
Not
first.
doing that, yeah.
13. So possibly not.
13 on the dice or 13 in total?
13 in total.
That's a miss.
Oh. So I've moved, I've attacked. So I guess the last one I will raise my shield in defense.
Okay.
And pass it over.
Yep, you've got the shield. Mosran, therefore, it is now your go.
Okay, we are going to go with move 1, move up.
Phelan will be up next.
I'm going to move in a step just to one side. If I can actually do it. Can I get in the door? Yes, I can.
Okay.
And not close the door. No.
It's a
Right.
vent.
Fine, okay.
There we go. I will move to there. And first strike with the halberd. That red dice up. 10 plus 9 for 19.
A 19 is going to be a hit.
Also, halberd is 1d10 plus 4. Let's grab that. 10. 7 plus 4 makes 11. First strike.
It's a pretty big hit, to be fair. And it does seem to take up a whole big chunk out of this creature. But it isn't dead.
It's only a neg 5, so stop it. Take a second blow. 20, so nat 20 minus 5 for 15.
Is a miss.
Oh, wow.
Zips around and moves about quite a bit. But that is a complete miss. So, yeah, not quite the attack and assault that the 2 warriors really wanted out of this. But it is then Phelan's turn.
Okay. How do I dwarf?
No, how do I do it? How do I dwarf?
How I mine for fish.
Yeah.
So, come on. Right. It's not my turn in the combat tracker, so I cannot move.
It's
Oh.
Right, that's very strange why it's done that. Let me just see if I can find which combat it thinks you're in. Because... No, it's... Right, let me remove from that. And
Remove Phelan from existence.
then... Right.
This is how your character dies.
Try now, and if all else fails, I will just turn it to free movement. Nope. Okay. Free movement
Nope.
it is. There you go.
Right. So, we'll step over here, have line of sight on it. Phelan will throw the horns and subject the buzzy thing to an electric arc.
Electric arc seems fair, so... Is that...
So, that's a basic reflex save. Yeah, basic reflex DC 17.
Basic reflex DC 17. Well, one thing that you do kind of tell from these things is they've probably got good reflexes because they're zipping around quite a bit. So it's going to get a... What was the DC?
17.
17. It's going to get a success, but not a critical success, so it will take half of the damage that
That's a massive 2 damage all in. So, yeah.
whole 2 damage all in.
No, sorry, no, I lied. 3 damage.
3 damage. Is that with the halved?
That's halved.
That's the halved. Okay, so that's fine.
I'm only rolling D4 plus 4, so
That's fair, yeah.
6 isn't too horrible.
No, that's true. That's very, very true. So it does now fall through. You've moved. You've cast a spell. You've got an action. Oh no.
No, I don't.
Electric
No,
arc's
it's
a 2.
2.
So
It's a 2.
That's fair enough. So it's Neffy's turn then.
Okay. I shoot it.
So this is the mistake I was making earlier. If you're firing through your allies, its armor class goes up by 1, not by 2. So that's one of the mistakes I have made. Everybody brings that sort of stuff up. However, you're firing through a doorway, which is quite a small space. So, do I give it proper cover here? I think I'm going to give it the partial cover, which is actually increase it to, because you're not only just trying to fire through a friend, you're trying to fire through a very tight doorway as well.
Come join us in the room. It's nice and cozy and warm.
Yeah.
No, it means moving. I rolled 24.
24. A 24
Nice.
definitely hits. And this is the thing about you.
It's flat-footed,
It's
so I
flat-footed
get...
because you're moving faster.
So I get 2d6.
You do get more damage, yes. You get an extra d6 for your sneak attack damage.
So that's 6 damage.
6 points of damage. It is still going.
I then reload
Yes.
and shoot again.
Okay.
You seem very inquisitive for that.
I don't mind. I'm behind a brick wall. You're going to shoot Anchor in the back of the head.
Oh,
On a
charming.
19.
19, with all of the benefits that it's got, is going to miss.
Damn it!
Because you're trying to fire through such a tight, confined thing, barely able to see it.
I didn't want to move. I stick by it.
Fair enough. That's fair enough. So, the fly does get to go.
What could possibly go wrong?
I say that. It's
It
flat-footed
hasn't got far to go.
because it's your
Yeah.
it still hasn't gone yet, and you're still using stealth. That will hit. Do you want to roll?
Which means I get to
damage?
roll 2. Yeah! And it's still flat-footed, so I get 2, don't I?
Yep.
Okay. 10 points of damage.
That does it. That definitely does it. The fly, after sort of being caught unawares by everything that's going on, drops down onto the floor. There's a big thud as it hits the ground. Problem is,
There's another one.
the fact that the buzzing hasn't stopped. And just as you're kind of going, good, that one's all done, you notice that there is a second one, and it descends from the ceiling, crawls its way through one of these weird window sort of holes that's been smashed out of the ceiling, clambers its way down, and rather angrily, it would appear, starts buzzing its way down, and it's going to go. So it's going to, first of all, it's going to come down, and with rather large sort of mandible type things that it's got on its, I'd assume for a fly, it's probably the hooks on the end of its legs that it goes with. It's going to slash out at Moz.
Oh.
Rude.
Oh, I did not mean to actually roll it that way. Let's ignore that. Let's do the actual dicing thing, because that's what we said we were going to do. Even better, to be fair, a 27 to hit you.
I do believe that hits.
That does
AC
hit.
18.
AC 18 is not a crit though. There is at least that. It is not a crit. So you are gonna. I think this is the first time I've actually been damaged any of you without it being ghosts.
Okay.
That will be 7 points of damage.
Can I do a reaction to that?
Possibly can.
Can I do a retributive strike, please?
I believe you can. Yes.
So I protect my ally and strike my foe. The ally gains resistance to damage equal to 2 plus my level, so 3 points. So I guess you only take 4 damage.
You do indeed only take 4 damage.
And I believe it being right in front of me, I am within reach.
Yes.
And I get to make a strike against it.
You do.
However, I rolled a grand total of 11, so I'm going to miss it horribly.
It will, absolutely. Miss. Yep, that's not going to work at all.
Quick question.
Go on.
Did it make a move action?
No, effectively it appeared, not appeared, but it effectively dropped into the spot out. Yeah, I'm not going to allow you, unfortunately, to do your reaction to this one. I possibly should do, but what I'm saying is that the effort of climbing in through a wall, which would have stopped you being able to target it, that's the move. That happened at the end of last turn, and it was within your melee range at that point. I do need you to, so you've only taken 4 damage, but I do need you to take a fortitude saving throw, please. One of those things that warriors aren't very good at, I'm sure.
Oh, fairly terrible at a +7. Let's roll green. I think it's green. 15 plus 7, 22.
Don't worry too much about it. It's just going on.
Don't worry.
For its second action, it's going to. Let me have a think. It's going to have a strike out at Anka. Its second action.
Go on then, if you think you're hard enough.
Well, it possibly is. Let's see. No, a 7 to hit. That's not going to.
No.
It's not going to happen on that one. And it's kind of got itself in a bit of a corner here. We're not actually okay with that. So it's going to turn around and have another go at Moz. 11 on the dice, but it's going to be at -2 on that roll. So that's that is everything. So at that point, it's either Moz or Anka, depending on which way around you want to go. I'm fairly certain Moz will be quite happy to go at this point.
Sure. I'll take a pop.
Revenge.
Revenge!
Plus window again. 8 plus 9 for 17.
Okay, a 17 would normally hit, but I'm going to use my reaction. Thank you very much. A target attacks me with a melee or ranged attack that I can see. Yes, I can definitely see him. I gain a +2 bonus to my armor class.
Oh.
Which means you miss.
Except it's an exacting strike. So therefore, at least I don't count it towards my map.
It's only your first strike, sir. You are not allowed to use exacting strike on your first attack. You can only use it on a second or third attack. Well, a second attack, very specifically. That is the push trait that ability has. Means it can't be used as your first attack. Now, because the attack missed, the giant fly can then fly away. And it can fly 40 foot. Now, this will, because this is a move, trigger a attack from it's going to buzz its way out.
So, attack opportunity you only get if you've got a specific trait that allows you to do that, like Mosfet.
100% correct, yep. And it would take up your reaction. So the other thing would be, even if you did have it, you have used your reaction before you've started again, so you wouldn't have the ability to react anyway. But Moz most definitely does.
Right up the butt. That's it's a 16, so second strike -5, 11.
Nope. Now, as it happens, I don't know if attacks of opportunity do take... Oh, no, they do if it's in your turn. So, yes, second strike in your turn. So, that is one action from you, sir. You do still have 2 actions.
I do believe give chase and stab it in the bum again. Are indeed 2 other actions, and entirely appropriate. Let's see if I can get through this door frame.
You may well need to move into the door frame diagonally out to the cross.
Yep, if we can get to.
I did the whole pathing thing because I knew I could guarantee I could do it.
In fact, no. Actually, yeah, we'll step there. We'll clear the doorway as opposed to stabbing over Neffy's head. So this one only sits at -5, not at -10.
No, because you still haven't had your chance to do your exacting strike. You've done a normal attack and you've done a reaction.
Okay.
So I believe you have to do this. Somebody's bound to turn around and say a reaction doesn't suffer from multiple attack penalty, but I don't know what happens in your own turn. I know that is true out of your turn, so that's an interesting proposition.
Okay. Is it a waste to do it at a -10 then? There's nothing else I can do, so I might as well try and stab it in the butt. Yeah, with 2, that's not happening.
No, that is definitely gonna miss. That is definitely going to miss. But it is now Anka's turn, and this thing has got quite a while before it's going to be getting to go next anyway, so that might be to your advantage.
Okay. I don't think I can get into combat with it from where I am, can I?
Not with one action, but you might with 2. Remember, you can go through your allies' spaces without any problems, so they do not stop you moving in this.
So 15. Oh, maybe I can then.
It's like
Okay.
get up to there.
I will. Oh, if I get the movie. Move. What's move? Oh, I've changed it so
It's the little person and then the square.
Cool. Okay, so I will move to in front of Phelan.
Yep, that's worked.
I don't. If I can hopefully protect him from getting attacked. And I will swing my sword at the flying beast. Hopefully it actually hit this time. 14 plus 7, 21.
That is a hit. That is absolutely a hit. And it cannot react again in the same way as it did, so that is definitely a hit.
Awesome. But I only do 6 damage.
6 damage is 6 damage. You still have an action as well. It's up to you.
Yeah, go then. I'll give another swing. Why not? So that's at -5, correct?
-5, yes.
Yeah, 7. Nope.
No. 5 on the dice, I'm assuming, for that one then. Okay, so that then swings it round to Phelan's turn.
Oren, bite the buzzy thing.
Okay.
Perfect.
Well, Orin moves up.
So, probably get to about there with 25 feet.
Oh, yes, easily. And is flanking, so the fly becomes flat-footed. As this small badger starts jumping up in the air, taking chunks out of this fly.
Okay, so there seems to be a +3 to hit. Okay, so not really.
What did Olrin get?
6, apparently.
No. It's just a bit too high. He's trying really hard, but he's just unfortunately flailing in midair as he tries.
But that's fine. He's flanking it for Moz.
He is. It's very true.
This was always the plan.
We can fight big maggots, we can fight goblins, but a little fly, no. We've just forgotten how to use weapons.
I mean, come on. You guys know how difficult it is to hit a fly out of midair. Even if
That
it's
is
bigger,
true.
it must be still quite difficult.
That's true.
Just as nippy.
Phelan, you still have 2 actions.
I do still have 2 actions. So, we shall conjure a ball of fire in one's hand and punch it.
Oh,
Juice Flame, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, absolutely. So you're going to make a spell attack roll, I believe, for that.
Yeah. So that's 24 to hit.
That is absolutely a hit. Roll your produce flame damage.
Okay. Survey says produce flame damage is...
so is that like the cantrip in D&D, but you can actually use it as a weapon?
Yeah, so the interesting one with this is that to produce flame, way back in the first edition Pathfinder, and I believe other things, always been it sheds a bit of light. You get a certain number of times to sort of lob it at people. Well,
Or punch people with it.
punch people with it. In Pathfinder 2nd edition, for whatever reason, it doesn't cast enough light anymore. So it only does the punching or the throwing at people. It can't actually use it as a light source.
Okay, interesting.
Okay. It can have 7 entire damage.
7 points of fire damage is pretty good going, though. I would say that's not a bad start. And it does seem to have now started looking quite a bit like you've taken reasonable bits out of it. Most of it looks quite burnt. It's got a decent slash in it. It doesn't look like it's doing very well. Neffy, it is now your turn.
What's the mechanic on switching to my rapier?
So, dropping a weapon is completely free. Drawing
It's
a weapon
picking up,
takes an
yeah.
action. So,
Okay,
would
so
effectively you could go drop the crossbow, no problems. Draw your sword, 1 action. You'd still have 2 actions left.
okay, then yeah, that's what I'm doing, and I've put my rapier.
So the crossbow drops to the floor, goes scattering into the rubble, never to be seen again.
Oi, oi, oi!
Never give the GM opportunity.
21.
21 is a hit, yes. This is not flat-footed to you though, so you will
No, I
do
know.
your base damage.
That's okay, because I rolled a 6.
That's pretty good. How much damage is that? Is that 6 points of damage? Okay. It is still going.
And
Looking
dog.
great at all. Like wings are completely shredded. It's doing that weird thing that when you spray bugs, they spin round on the floor.
It's got that slight bzzz noise. I'll try and hit it again.
Okie dokie.
17.
Is exactly a hit.
Oof. 5 damage.
I'd like you to explain your kill.
I'm essentially hitting it with the rapier in such a way that it's almost like I'm swatting it, like an annoying bug.
So, with this piercing weapon, after jabbing it through quite hard and this creature, you just sort of pull the end back a little bit and smack it, and it stops moving and done with this fight. We're out of combat. We shall just kill that music. The whole
Like
space
a
goes
bug.
quiet. There's no more buzzing, no more noise. All is quiet.
I begin searching for my crossbow.
You pick it up.
And reload it.
You're constantly walking around with a loaded crossbow.
That's not an accident.
Yes, we're in a dungeon.
We are in fact dungeon crawling. You are correct. Right.
I've just tweaked Olarin's stats in Foundry because they were wrong.
Okay, that's fair.
Because, yeah, he had a strength of 10 there. He should have a strength bonus of +2.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
Yep, that's fair enough. I must have missed that one when I was setting it up. That is more.
Yeah, no worries.
More than fine. So yes, you have this small chamber that you've opened up just to the south. When you look into it, the interior of this appears to be a watch post, still having a wooden ceiling high above, but a thick mould of filth and animal carcasses heaped on the floor make the room anything but inviting. As I say, there was just a big enough gap for this thing to crawl through. Up in the ceiling as well.
So is the gap, above us or?
It's above you. It is sort of part of the ceiling. It looks like there's a. So the ceiling's about 15 foot high, and you can see what appears to be like some of the panels are slightly angled up, and looking at it kind of closely, you can tell that there's a trapdoor in this ceiling. You would assume that effectively it would be allow you to get up to where a parapet might have been once upon a time.
Mm-hmm. Anyone want to give me a boost so I can go have a look?
I would, but I think Moz has got more height than I have.
I was going to say, it's without wanting to point it out, it's more of a ladder versus step ladder situation.
Oh, don't step on poor Phelan.
I would never step on Phelan.
No.
I have no issues stepping on Moz though.
Only because I've got more options for grip because of the plate armor. Yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's my ego there.
That's exactly what I meant by that statement.
Mm-hmm, I'm sure. Right. What hole am I throwing you into?
So, in order to get up there, I'm going to say it is an athletics check to get up. I'm more than happy for Neffy for you to roll that for yourself. Moz, if you want to try and help, we both know that the rules for aiding are not easy at low level, but you can also make an athletics check to try and aid her getting up.
I effectively need to get 20 or higher, don't I?
You do. In order to get any bonus for Neffy, you would have to roll a 20 or higher. What's your athletics bonus?
7. So I'd have to roll 13 up.
Doable.
Not the
Slightly
worst.
less than a 50-50.
Mm-hmm. And if I don't succeed, remind me what happens?
If you don't succeed, nothing happens. It's only if you critically fail that there's a problem.
Okay.
So don't roll a 1, 2, 3.
17 for 10.
So what, a 10 on the dice, giving you a 17 in total?
Oh, actually, no, sorry. 17 plus 7, not minus 7.
Not minus.
Crap
I'm
math.
hoping that you're not a negative
24.
7.
24.
That is 100% an aid. That will give Neffy a +1 on this roll.
Okay.
Highly
Well,
risky.
nat 20.
Money
You
reward.
rolled a nat 20. You rolled a nat 20. So you Moz sort of sets himself, gets ready to kind of lift you, gets himself very well set, and the sort of hold that he manages to sort of steady himself to get up behind you and lift as you go. But the second you get even a grasp of this this opening, you just pull yourself up, pushing the trapdoor open at the same time, landing on this roof. It is 100% exactly what you suspected. It is a small parapet that allows you to sort of look around the room or around the space. What you can sort of see from up here, firstly, you can see the gatehouse. And I'm actually going to very quickly just sort of grab your token and move you to just outside the building so that you can kind of see the sorts of things that you might be able to see from up there. So you can see the down towards your south. You've got the entrance gateway and the bridge that you've already looked through. Looking way past that to the other out sort of building that you saw on the other side of the river or swamp area, you can see that larger structure, including still stood at the door that skeletal figure that you saw before. Doesn't seem to be doing anything, doesn't seem to notice you. Then looking up towards the north, what catches your eye is that there appears to be, to the far north of you, another island, for want of a better term, with another building on this northern thing. And there is a pier that sweeps out into the swamp.
Yeah.
Not only one coming from that new building, but also there appears to be one coming from this building just here. Although you can't tell what that connects to, because nothing of the shape of the interior of this structure seems to match there being another building on the outside there. So that's another mystery for you. But that is basically what you can see from this position. Looking back over the rest of the building, fragments of walls of a second story, but lots of collapse, lots and lots of stuff that's obviously gone through, holes in various sections, but you're too far away to really be able to look down into what these holes are, into the rooms that you haven't explored yet. And certainly more than anything, it doesn't look safe enough for you to sort of climb across the ruins of the building. You would be very dubious about doing that. But other than that, there is nothing else up there.
Okay. So I'm presuming that fly thing could have come from outside or anywhere.
Anywhere outside.
Okay. That's cool. I shimmy on back down.
Sort of land, bit of a catch from Moz. Gets you back down.
Anything interesting up there?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing up there. But there is some sort of weird pier, like, further up. I can't read maps. I don't know what north, east, south, and west is.
North is up on this map, don't worry.
But yeah, there's some sort of pier from somewhere on this side and then over to the other side. So we may end up at another island at some point.
Good to know. Good to know. What time of the day are we on? We've taken a couple of breaks.
So you, I believe the last time we left this and you were sort of hanging around after healing everybody up before you went on to the maggots and then on to the flies, it was just crossing midday. You've probably spent, with a little bit of searching and a little, obviously the fights were quick, but with the sort of recovery time and just having a bit of a rest, it's probably only been about half an hour, so it's probably only just past midday. That whole sequence, these two rooms have not taken you any time at all, even searching them, because to a certain extent, it's just a little bit tedious digging through all of this rubble. You're not spending ages on it because you'd have to shift the whole lot, and I'd imagine by this point you kind of look at the rubble pile and go, let's just cancel that out of the equation. Let's not think about that, unless you want to pick it up brick by brick. And
yeah, that doesn't sound particularly exciting.
No.
Not playing an archaeologist this time around.
But we do have a
That's
big
the backup
hole.
character.
You haven't gone through the wall. You are.
Can I start walking through there?
Yes. The only thing you need to remember is that there is, or there was, a half-eaten frog, giant frog, that sort of semi-blocks the way.
Does it look like it's bloated?
What, as in full of?
Like,
What? In what way do you mean? Is it bloated? That's.
so like, does it look like it's decaying to the point where its stomach or insides, if you put any pressure on it, it's just going to go boom and cover us in some kind of icky
Ew.
goo?
No, it's not. It's relatively fresh. You would imagine that. So you kind of imagine, to a certain extent, the maggots and the flies might have been eating off of it, but they are not the sorts of things that manage to rip off the hind legs. That's something else.
Okay. I will clamber over the frog happily and start walking outside then.
Okay, absolutely. You
It's
can
the front half of half a frog.
It's the front
It's
half.
the front half of
Yes,
half a
yes.
frog.
Yes, the front half, which is hanging into the room, still is there, but the back half has been chewed off.
Yeah,
Possibly by the thing we viciously violated earlier.
Anchor, what do you know that's big enough to eat a frog this big? You've been around here a little bit longer again than I have. I've been away a couple of years.
Nothing that I can think of. That's why I'm a little bit concerned what might be out here.
May I attempt to recall knowledge check with nature?
Yeah, absolutely. Nature is perfect, or interestingly enough, if you've got Arcana. So whichever is your better one, let me know, because it is a secret roll. What your is, please, on
nature. Nature +7.
Nature +7. You have a look at it. You're not too sure.
Arcana +6.
Arcana +6.
Really something with big pointy teeth.
Do we need to go
enough,
to Antioch?
You have a look at it. Again, you're quite local, realistically. Neffy's quite a local individual, and you kind of have a little bit of a look at it. There are rumours, certainly locally, and this would fit with that kind of thing, that there may be drakes in the swamp.
Okay.
And that would
Goody.
match this sort of chomp off style. You can see that this has clearly been sort of bitten into and ripped off rather than eaten in situ. So your best thought is it might be a river drake or something like that.
Which we are right next to the swampy water and all that kind of stuff, so it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Something swampy and chompy.
Swampy chompy drakes.
I'd best be quick then. I start picking up the pace and running around, just seeing like what's around this building and like sort of the layout.
Okay, so you sort of step your way around, and as you start progressing up further north, you notice just about now, as you kind of round this corner, that there is a building to the north. It's some sort of like outbuilding or shed. You can't see a door on it, but you can see a pier leading off of it.
I look at the others, kind of shrug, and then carry on walking back up towards the outhouse up north.
Okay. What's
I'll let
everybody
other
else
people
doing? Because
I was about to ask them what other people are doing.
Following?
Definitely trying to keep all the party in sight.
Yeah, I would say I would follow.
Yeah, we're going to have to follow.
okay, just make sure you're moving your tokens. Olarin will play catch up with once we're in a position where we need Olarin to catch up.
I'm going to keep an eye out towards the murky wet stuff with a suspicious.
I am avoiding notice if that is something you need to know.
I will want to know this now. So while you're doing this, while you're in this position of motion, what activities are people effectively taking?
I guess I'm more scouting at this point rather than raising a shield.
Yep, that seems fair in terms of description of what you're doing. Neffy is trying to remain hidden. Mosran, what are you doing?
If Anka is scouting, I would like to be searching, so looking for concealed threats or hazards or hidden
Okey-dokey.
things.
And is Phelan doing his normal?
Phelan is still seeking.
Phelan is still seeking. Okie dokie. So, for those two of you that are seeking, can you just let me know your perception bonuses, please?
7.
7.
I like the superhero pose.
5 for perception.
Okay, and then for the one that is stealthing, what is your stealth bonus?
6.
Okay, I have some numbers. I now know how perceptive and how sneaky you're all being. That's very helpful. So yeah, you progress forwards. As I said, this building, you notice as you kind of round this other corner, it is a separate building from the main building. It is entirely cut off. All of you, however, also now almost certainly can see what Neffy explained to you. There is a pier here. There is actually a pier over the water, and there is a entire disconnected other island up to the north.
I'm going to try and sneak around this corner without getting my little tootsies wet in the swamp.
Okay. Well, first things first, I would like you to make an athletics check to see if you can stay off, and I'm going to let you roll this one. I'm not going to make this one a secret
Sure.
roll. You know how well you're going to be doing.
27, that was a nat 20.
Oh, well, fair enough then. Yeah, you sort of slide, line yourself along the wall, sliding across, not a problem at all. You do notice that there is a small step up onto the pier, and there is a door on the sort of north-western wall of this thing.
Sure.
Which, you are 100% at that door. There is a boat tethered into the water. This pier is not in good shape. Much of this wooden pier has collapsed into the swamp, leaving about 10 foot of mouldy, soggy boards slumped against ancient wood pilings. A rowboat tied to a piling looks much more recently built.
I put my ear to the door and see if I hear anything.
Yes, what is your perception bonus?
What is my perception bonus? I don't know. Perception is +4.
Okay, you put your ear to the door, you cannot hear anything.
I'll let the others decide what they're doing first before I do anything else.
No, what I'm tempted to do is just jiggle the handle. But again, I'll watch people moving around the area, just get a feel of what everyone else is up to first.
So there's a lot of.
I want to know if I can hear anything at this door.
Okay. What's your perception bonus, please?
It is. I'm looking in the wrong place.
I believe it's
Where's
+6.
perception on this blue thing? I think it is +6.
Yeah. You listen at that door, you can't hear anything. And Moz,
Okay.
you listening at that door?
I am. I'm going to start stowing my halberd and draw my sap
So I don't
as
need
I do.
You cannot hear anything at that door either.
Okay, I continue making myself round and see that Mosvin is at this other door.
Yep.
And kind of do some hand signals. I'm trying to indicate there's a door here, there's a door there. Shall we go through together, sort of thing.
And I will gently whap what is effectively several pound weight of fish weights in a loose leather wrap as a sap, as a nod towards me, trying to be non-lethal compared to previous antics where we were trying to capture the matter.
I put up. I show both hands, showing like 10, and then I go down to 9, 8, move back to the door, and then in my head kind of count down to 0, and then smash through the door and hope Mosvin ends up going through it around the same time.
Okay.
Looks like the same plan. Yeah, bash the door.
Okay, and as you count down, roughly speaking, roughly at the same time, you smash your way into the doors, and I'll open these ones up for you because there's nothing inside.
Oh, that's disappointing.
Slam your way
Coordinated
through,
assault.
and there's nothing there at all. But there is at least a reasonable bit of description for you. So, the southern portion of this stone-walled building has collapsed into rubble, exposing what remains of a boathouse to the elements. The shelves and boats within have decayed into heaps of rot and moss. The embers of a relatively fresh campfire smoulder nearby.
I'm going to do the dumb thing, put my hand up against that fire, or as close as I can reasonably to figure see if I can, with a plus.
Ooh, is it hot?
Nature. Basically, how hot is it? As in, how hot's the ground around it? How
Survival.
recent it's gone out?
It would be a survival check, and I.
Mods casts detect fire. Range touch.
Ranged melee touch.
Survival +0. That's even better.
Okay,
Oh, wow.
go for it. Make your d20 roll.
Okay, that's a 16. That's not too shabby.
Okay. From what little you know of survival, and the various bits and pieces of that, the main thing that catches your eye is that the embers are not smoking, but they've got that smouldering red tint to them, where there's still a little bit of heat in it. Not enough to actually cause smoke, but if you had more tinder, you could create another fire quite easily with the heat that's still in them. You would suggest your thought would be sort of late last night, maybe this morning, to keep it, because you probably built little fire, so the stones are around it will have kept the heat in. So it's difficult to give an exact sort of thing of how long this would have lasted for, but it's certainly not like, it's not days. It would have been gone by then. It's within a sort of certain time period, which makes it sort of early-ish morning, very early-ish morning, through to sort of last night.
So someone broken camp.
I speak to my son, who's close to me. If we're going to be here for any length of time, this might be a good place to take rest. Tending to this fire, making sure it doesn't go out, so we can come back to it. I think it's going to be beneficial, and possibly we might be able to catch who left this fire if they do come back themselves and get some more information that way.
That's what I was thinking. A fresh rowboat out of a fresh fire that's broken camp this morning. Looking at how rubbishy all this lot is, and that boat outside's all right. Someone's been up here doing things in the night.
Yeah, I'm tempted to try and break some of that rowboat down into firewood. I don't think the pier is going to be
If
particularly
they see the rowboat is smashed up, are they going to think someone's in here, though?
Also, we might want that boat to go across to the other island.
There's the bridge.
From where, Island points out, there's a bridge over there.
Oh, yeah! Still scrolling on the map, Becky. God.
It's good someone's got the high observation skills and the natural roll.
Do we have
Never
any
mind.
for this otherwise, though? Well, what's the boat? The boat that we're kind of standing on, what's the integrity of that one?
The boat in here is in awful condition.
Oh,
it is
okay.
rotted and it's old.
Yeah. The one
Can
out
we
there
use that to at least start feeding a fire?
I mean, probably.
Why do you need to burn it now?
Because we need to stop the fire from going out, right?
Why?
I'm going to point at Phelan, and the ability was punching fireballs.
Oh, yeah.
Making fire is not difficult.
I just kind of looked like, oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
We're the big brain people that are sent on this mission.
It's a practical thought. Let's not devalue that. It's just not necessary at this point.
I can do this magic thing. That's your job. And actually thinking about it, I totally have like torches and stuff that I could probably have started the fire if I really tried, couldn't
You
I?
did, yeah, you do, you do.
Flint and steel. Yeah, cool.
Flint and
Anyway,
steel,
so
yep.
moving on after I'm being an idiot. Is it worth still putting some of the broken pier into here so that it might begin to dry off?
That is a reasonable idea. We spent 10 minutes breaking some bits of pier off and stacking them in here.
Absolutely. So you take what is realistically left of this pier. As I say, some of it's completely fallen into the swamp. As you're doing this, what are you going to do about the boat that's out there that is tied on?
Well, we're not going to pull up the uprights,
Piling.
and it's tied to a piling.
Okay. So you start sort of you start over sort of.
Yeah,
We're just going to break up the slats.
Yep, absolutely. While you're over there, or while you're all sort of working, Phelan, you do notice that actually inside that boat appears to be a small bundled package.
Okay. Someone's left something in the boat.
Listen,
So you sort of look at it and you open it up, and it's a little sort of wax cotton sheet that inside has a small selection of pies and pastries. And they have very specific sort of designs on the crust, as it were. And I'm going to very quickly do a little background check, but I would like everybody, please, I'm just going to go round the horn, to tell me what your society bonus is, please. So starting with Phelan.
With
Society.
Society.
1.
1. Okay, we're off to a good start then. Neffy.
6.
6. That's better. Moz.
Funf.
Oh,
Okay, 5. And with Anka.
4.
4. Both Neffy and Phelan know this. Obviously, a little bit more sort of travelled around the town, and you do a little bit more sort of wandering and carousing and things like that. The pattern and the shape of the pastries, they are, you immediately know what they are. They're fish-shaped pastries which come from the Crook's Nook in Atari. They are well known as a specific speciality of the Crook's Nook. In fact, they're called fish cakes. They contain smoked salmon and various other bits and pieces. But it's at this point in time that, as you're sort of looking over this, going, what on earth's going on? There's also something catches Neffy's eye as you're sort of looking over this package, because tucked sort of in the corner of the boat, just within, sort of underneath one of the seats in there, Neffy notices a carving of a flying bird hidden very discreetly underneath one of the seats. And it's something that you know very, very well. Really, really well. Because that is the symbol of the Osprey Club, Atari's Thieves Guild.
I know nothing about it. I don't know where I've got this title from. But everyone thinks I know all the dodgy stuff.
But the thing
I'm going to wrap the pies back up and leave them where they are.
really, really well is that the Osprey Club is based at the Crook's Nook.
Mm-hmm.
And these boats belong to the Thieves Guild.
I take all of the pies.
Hey!
And that's where we're going to end this episode. I hope everybody's had a bit of fun, and that is all for this. We're going to go and have a quick break, do another quick recording, and yeah, we should be all set up.
Eat a load of pie.
Eating pie. Isn't that lovely? Right, everyone, have fun, see you around, and we'll join you at the next random encounter. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hurrah.